Have you ever wondered why he can't stop thinking about you, even when he doesn't fully understand why? Why he keeps coming back, checking in, holding on to your energy long after the conversation is over? It's not the makeup, it's not the clothes, it's not the things you try to be. It's the things you already are. Quiet, graceful things. The way you carry yourself. The way you listen without needing to be loud. The way you choose peace over pressure and mystery over noise. These are the hidden behaviors that stay with him, long after you've walked away. He doesn't even know it's happening. He thinks he's just enjoying your company, but slowly he starts needing it. He believes he's just getting to know you, but quietly your energy becomes a part of his world. He starts craving your calm. Your laughter echoes even when you're not around. He won't call it love at first, but it will grow in the background like a fire he can't put out. That's how powerful your presence truly is when you're tapped into your truth. Seneca once said, "The things that please are those that surprise." And that's you. You are the quiet surprise his heart wasn't prepared for, not because you chased him, not because you gave him everything, but because you gave him peace. You didn't try to be the loudest voice. You became the softest place for him to land. That's what changes everything. Picture this, a garden that grows quietly behind high walls. No crowds, no flashing lights, just rich soil, deep roots, rare flowers. He doesn't notice at first, but one day he walks past and the scent pulls him in. That's what you are. Not the noise, not the show, but the energy that makes him slow down. That makes him stay. This is not about pretending to be someone else. This is about returning to who you already are, beneath the pressure, beneath the performance. And once you realize that you don't have to beg to be chosen, that's when you rise into something greater. And now, lovely woman, let me tell you something deep. You were never the echo. You were always the voice he didn't know he needed to hear, the warmth he didn't know he missed. And now, you begin to live as a queen. Queens, if you're feeling this truth settle into your chest, stay with me. This is only the beginning. Queens, if this message touched something deep in you, if it reminded you of the quiet power you carry, the kind that makes hearts shift without even trying, then honor that feeling. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are working hard every single day to bring you content that speaks to your soul, lifts your spirit, and reminds you of the queen you've always been. You deserve to feel seen, understood, and empowered, and that's exactly why we're here. Number 1. The way you see him when he forgets who he is. Have you ever looked into his eyes and seen the storm he was trying to hide? Not the smile he wears for the world, not the confidence he shows when others are watching, but the quiet chaos behind it all. That moment when he's unsure, when he forgets who he is, when the weight of the world makes him shrink a little smaller. Most don't notice, but you do. And that right there, is where everything begins. That is one of the most powerful hidden behaviors that makes him fall in love without even realizing it. Because it's not your beauty that pierces his heart, it's your vision. The way you see him when he feels invisible to himself. You don't flatter his ego, you feed his spirit. You remind him of his worth when he's forgotten it. And that kind of love, that kind of quiet strength, it doesn't shout, it doesn't chase, it lingers, it stays. It becomes a mirror he didn't know he needed. He who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens. That was Carl Jung. And when you reflect back the version of him that even he forgot existed, you don't just make him feel seen, you wake him up. That is what makes a man hold on without even knowing why. Because you didn't just touch his body, you touched his sense of self. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships, It stands still and strong, sending out its light no matter how rough the sea gets. That's what you are. You become the steady light when everything around him feels uncertain. You hold your own power while still seeing his. And that's unforgettable. That's the kind of energy that makes him feel something deeper, something real. Not because you tried, but because you are. And now, beautiful lady, it's time you know this truth. You are not just a chapter in his life. You are the turning point. You are not loud, you are felt. You are not chasing love. You are becoming the space where love wants to stay. That's what it means to walk as a queen, the kind who does not need to be chosen because her presence is already the choice. Write this in the comments and claim it. He fell in love the moment I saw him. Let it echo through your soul, queens. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you life-changing truths that awaken your power and remind you of the love you truly deserve. Number 2, you become the pause in his chaos. Have you ever wondered why he keeps circling back to you, even when he swears he's moved on? Why your presence feels like oxygen to him, even if he doesn't say a word? It's because in a world full of noise, pressure, and endless expectations, you became the pause in his chaos. And not just a pause, but a moment of stillness his soul didn't know it was starving for. He may not call it love. He may not even recognize it yet. But the way he exhales around you, the way his voice softens, that's what gives you a space inside his heart he didn't know was open. You don't compete for attention, you don't perform, you simply are. And that is where your power lives. He's used to loud voices and forced energy, but you're the calm after the storm. You are the soft landing, the emotional quiet that makes him stop and feel something real. And that's when the shift happens. That's when love starts growing quietly behind the walls he built. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." But sometimes, Queen, your presence becomes that retreat for him, not because you're trying to fix him, but because your stillness gives him permission to breathe. In your silence, he starts to feel safe. And in that safety, his heart starts attaching itself to you without warning. Imagine a chaotic city, loud with horns and hurry, and right in the middle, a hidden garden, silent and sacred. He walks in by accident, thinking it's just a break. But the peace he finds there, it lingers. It changes him. That garden is you. Lovely woman, you are not here to beg for love. You are not here to compete with noise. You are here to be the stillness that shifts his entire world. And once you know that power, you stop chasing. You start reigning. Write this in the comments and own it. I am the peace he didn't see coming. Queens, let this be your reminder. We are working every single day to create powerful healing lessons just for you. Because your love is not noise, it's depth, and the right man will never forget it. Number 3, you don't flinch when he tries to impress. You see past the performance. He's used to being praised for the image, the charm, the confidence, the control. He puts on a performance because that's what most people fall for, the smile, the status, the stories. But you didn't flinch. You didn't lean in to be impressed. You leaned back and watched, and that did something to him. Because nothing shakes a man more than a woman who doesn't react to the surface, but sees straight through it. He's met people who clapped for the mask, but you paused. You looked past the polished words and into the quiet spaces between. You didn't rush to be impressed. You chose to understand. And that made him feel something unfamiliar, seen, not for what he does, not for who he pretends to be, but for who he actually is when no one's watching. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And your calm, your clarity, your stillness, it makes him want to become one. You didn't force it. You didn't try to fix him. You just held up a mirror so clear it made him see what he was running from. And that, Queen, is the power of presence. Imagine a stage. He's standing in the spotlight, performing the role he's played for years. Everyone claps, but in the back of the room, you sit still. You don't cheer, you don't smile, you feel, and he notices, because while others are entertained, you are awakened. And suddenly, he's no longer acting, he's searching for that one person who doesn't fall for the act. This is not about playing hard to get. This is about being so deeply rooted in who you are that no man's performance can distract you from the truth. And once he senses that your love isn't bought by games but earned through depth, he will begin to fall without even realizing it. So hear me, beautiful woman, your ability to stay grounded when he performs is not weakness, it's royalty. You don't beg for real, you attract it. Not because you chase, but because you see. Write this in the comments and claim it. I see through the act. I stay rooted. We are working hard to bring you life-changing truths that honor your worth and remind you, you were never meant to be impressed. You were meant to reign. Number 4. Your absence hits harder than your presence ever begged to. Have you ever noticed that the loudest reaction doesn't always come from words? It comes from silence, from absence, from the moment he realizes you're no longer available to catch every call, reply to every message, show up every time he pulls away. At first, he might not understand why the air feels heavier, why his chest tightens in random moments, why he keeps checking his phone for a name he once took for granted. But the truth is, he's starting to feel it. Your absence is doing what your presence never had to beg for. You didn't scream for his attention. You didn't chase. You didn't beg him to stay. You simply stopped showing up in the places where you were once always available. And that quiet shift, it shook him. Because nothing wakes a man up faster than the woman who goes silent after giving him every reason to be heard. He doesn't call it love yet. He won't even say it out loud. But his heart is reaching, and it's reaching for what he can no longer touch. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And that's what you're doing. You're not playing games. You're teaching him a lesson without ever saying a word, a lesson he won't forget. Because it's easy to ignore a woman who always stays. But it's impossible to forget the one who walked away without slamming the door. Think of it like a flame, one that always burned softly in the background. He didn't notice it when it was constant, but now that it's gone, the cold stings, the dark feels longer. He keeps replaying your laughter in his head, keeps hearing your voice in quiet rooms. And slowly, piece by piece, regret starts to bloom in the spaces where your warmth used to live. This is the part where everything changes, not for him, for you. Because when you finally stop showing up for someone who never saw your worth, that's when you step into your reign. That's when you become the queen he can't replace. You don't need to explain. You don't need to convince. Let your absence echo. Let it speak louder than anything your presence ever tried to say. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My absence is unforgettable. Let the world know that you are done explaining your worth, done proving your place. If this truth shook something in you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create these life-changing lessons because you deserve to remember who you are. A queen, and you don't beg, you reign. Number 5, you touch his spirit before you touch his body. Have you ever noticed that the deepest kind of love doesn't start with touch, it starts with presence? The way you sit beside him and make him feel seen, even in silence. The way your words make him pause and think. The way your energy stays in the room long after you've left. He may not understand it right away, but his heart does, because you didn't rush to touch his body. You reached into something more sacred. You touched his spirit. And that's what makes a man fall in love without even realizing it. He expects sparks. He expects charm. He's used to attention. But when you walk in with quiet strength, with a gaze that reads him deeper than he reads himself, something shifts. You become the softness he didn't know he craved, the stillness his chaos needed. And that becomes unforgettable. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And when your thoughts are calm, kind, and grounded, you bring him peace. A woman who brings peace doesn't need to beg for love. She becomes the place love grows on its own. Not because you tried harder, but because you moved differently. Think of fireflies in the dark. They don't shout, don't chase, don't force. They glow, and that soft glow pulls everything toward them. That's you. You didn't need to perform. You didn't need to show off. You simply were. And somehow he found his way to you, not because of your touch, but because of how your energy made him feel safe. And now, beautiful woman, it's time to say it plainly. You are not the storm that shook him. You are the light that calmed him. You touched his spirit before you ever touched his hand. And that's why no matter how far he goes, a part of him will always feel drawn back to you. Because real love doesn't come from chasing, it comes from being unforgettable without trying. Here's your reminder. I touch spirits, not just skin. Write this in the comments, queens, and let the world know how you love, with presence, not pressure. We're working every day to bring you these life-changing truths, because queens like you were never meant to settle. You were meant to reign. Number 6. You protect your energy like a crown that cannot be borrowed. Have you ever noticed how a woman who doesn't give easy access to her energy suddenly becomes unforgettable in his world? Not because she's cold, not because she's playing games, but because her presence feels earned, never borrowed. That's what sets her apart. She protects her peace like a crown, and a crown. It's not something passed around. It's sacred, it's royal. And when he sees that you don't hand over your light just to feel seen, that's when he starts to feel something deeper, something he can't quite name. That's when the real attraction begins. He's used to attention being given without effort. He's used to women adjusting their worth for his convenience. But when he meets you, the one who doesn't overshare, overgive, or overprove, something shifts in him. You don't move from emotion, you move from wisdom. You don't chase, because you know what happens when a queen hands her crown to the wrong hands. It tarnishes, it falls, and you, beautiful woman, have learned to keep your crown where it belongs, on your own head. Rumi once said, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" And yet, that's what happens when a woman gives her energy to a man who hasn't earned the right to carry it. But when you stop doing that, when you start protecting your softness, your heart, your silence, that's when the game changes. That's when he starts to lean in. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing less, with power. Imagine a locked vault holding the rarest jewel in the world. Everyone wants to see inside. But the key? It's not just handed out. The value of that jewel isn't in how many have touched it, but in how few ever could. That's your energy. That's your presence. And the man who's meant for it, he'll work for it. He'll rise for it. He'll stay for it. You don't have to prove you're worthy of love, queen. You just have to stop giving away what was never meant to be borrowed. Your peace is not a public park. Your soul is not a trial version. You are the whole empire. Write this in the comments and claim it. My energy is not for rent. We are working hard every day to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to chase love. You were meant to reign in it. Number 7. You become the memory he didn't plan on keeping. Have you ever realized how certain memories don't need effort to stay? They just linger, not because they were loud, but because they felt different. You didn't ask for space in his mind, yet you live there now. He didn't plan to carry you with him, but your energy refuses to leave. That's what happens when a woman becomes the kind of memory that feels like home and fire at the same time. She doesn't chase him. She becomes the moment he keeps reliving in silence. It starts with the way you showed up, not begging to be noticed, but simply being present in a way no one else was. He thought it was just another conversation, just another touch, just another goodbye. But it wasn't. You gave him something real, without even trying. A man may forget the ones who tried too hard, but he never forgets the woman who made him feel seen without asking to be understood. As Seneca said, things that are truly beautiful don't ask for attention. That's you. He won't say it out loud, but every time he hears a song you once loved, every time he walks into a room that still holds your laughter, he will feel that ache. Because no matter how far he runs, you became the memory his heart wasn't ready to lose. Imagine this. He's holding a brand new photo in one hand, smiling at a new chapter, but behind his eyes, your reflection lingers. Your voice plays in the background of his thoughts like a favorite melody he never meant to memorize. That's not a coincidence. That's your unspoken imprint on a man's spirit. And once your energy touches him in that way, every woman after you will be compared to the feeling he had when he was with you. But this isn't about waiting for him to see it. No, this is where you rise. Because, lovely woman, you were never meant to be erased. You were always the turning point he didn't see coming. And now you live like a queen, unshaken, unreachable, undeniable. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am the memory he never expected, but can never forget. Queens, if that line speaks to the fire in your heart, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working day and night to bring you powerful, life-changing truths. You're not here to be remembered by chance. You're here to reign by choice.